Okay, this one's big, so stick with me. While everybody was watching Japan last week, the two largest financial centers on planet Earth quietly shook hands. America and the UK. Same table, same plan, and almost nobody's really talking about it. Now here's the question that plan accidentally answered. If America's building dollar stablecoins and the UK's building pound stablecoins, how do they actually talk to each other? How does the money move between them? Simple. You need a bridge. And here's the part that gave me chills. Picture the room where this got decided. Government officials on one side, the biggest names in money on the other. BlackRock, JPMorgan, Goldman Sachs. And sitting right there with them, as an equal, not a guest, not some crypto startup, is Ripple. Two governments just admitted they need a bridge, in a room where Ripple has a seat. Coincidence? I don't think so. So give me the next 14 minutes and I'll show you exactly what happened, where XRP fits, and the honest part, what this does and doesn't mean yet. Let's go, real quick, from me to you. I'm not a financial advisor, and this isn't financial advice. Just my honest read on some genuinely big news, shared with people I actually care about. Never risk what you can't afford to lose. Always do your own research. I'm here to help you think clearly, not to sell you a dream. Cool? All right, let's dive in. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Crypto with BHW, where we tell it to you straight, with heart. Grab your coffee, get comfy, because the thing that just happened between Washington and London is one of those quiet moves that matters way more than the headlines let on. All right, let me lay it out plain, because the official language on this is a snooze, and I want you to actually feel why it matters. On July 14th, the US Treasury and the UK's Treasury, they call theirs HM Treasury, did something together. They published a joint roadmap, 10 points, and it's all about one thing, getting these two giant economies to line up their rules on stablecoins and tokenized assets, crypto basically, but the grown-up, institutional version of it. This came out of a group with a very fancy name, the Transatlantic Taskforce for Markets of the Future. And here's a detail I love. This thing didn't pop up overnight. It was set up back in September of 2025, almost a year ago, by two heavy hitters, Scott Bessent, the US Treasury Secretary, and Rachel Reeves, the UK's Chancellor of the Exchequer, basically Britain's version of the Treasury boss. So this wasn't some intern side project. This was top of the food chain, both countries, working quietly for months. And alongside the roadmap, they dropped a second thing, a joint statement, specifically on stablecoins. Now stablecoins, if you're new here, are digital versions of regular money, a digital dollar, a digital pound, backed one-to-one by real reserves. And both governments basically said, yes, we want these. We want them regulated. We want them backed properly. And this is the big one. We want them to be able to move across borders between our two countries. Sit with that for a second. The United States and the United Kingdom, two of the biggest, oldest, most powerful financial systems on Earth, standing up together and saying the future of money is digital, and we're building it, on purpose, on the record, hand in hand. A couple years ago, they were treating crypto like a virus. Now, they're drafting the blueprint. That's the shift. That's the whole story. But hold on, before you go all in on the hype, I promised you the honest part, and I meant it. Because there's a word in all of this that changes how excited you should get. Let me show you. Okay, deep breath. This is the part where I keep it 100 with you, even though it's not the fun part. Because you deserve the truth, not just fireworks. Here's the word. Recommendations. That's what this roadmap is. Recommendations. It is not a law. It doesn't create new binding rules overnight. And it does not mean a stablecoin approved in London can automatically flood into New York tomorrow. Every serious outlet covering this said the same thing. It sets goals, it points a direction, it tells the regulators, go work together on this. But it's a starting line, not a finish line. And I need you to hear that. Because half the channels out there are screaming, bombshell, act now, XRP explodes tonight. Nah, that's not how any of this works. This is governments doing government things. Slow, deliberate, methodical. Let me give you some real perspective, too. You want honesty? Here it is. Crypto just came off one of its roughest stretches in a while. The market's been under pressure, a string of down quarters, the whole space feeling heavy. So no, this news did not magically turn everything green overnight. It's not that kind of catalyst. So why, with all of that, am I still genuinely optimistic? Here's why. Because price is what happens in a week. Foundations are what decide the next decade. And what just got poured is a foundation. When two of the biggest financial powers on Earth agree, in writing, on the direction, that direction doesn't just vanish. It builds. Slowly, quietly, then all at once. And the people who understand the difference between a firework and a foundation, they're the ones who tend to be standing in the right place when it finally matters. All right, so that's the setup, and that's the honest truth about it. Now let's get to the part you actually came for. Out of every coin on Earth, why does this specific move point straight at XRP? Let me show you. Okay, this is the piece I really want to land, so let me build it for you, brick by brick. Go back to that question from the intro, the one the whole roadmap accidentally answers. If America's rolling out dollar stablecoins, and the UK's rolling out pound stablecoins, and tomorrow the EU's got euro ones, and Japan's got yen ones, you end up with a world full of digital currencies that can't easily talk to each other. Islands of money. And moving between islands? That's slow, expensive, clunky. So what fixes it? A bridge. A neutral asset that sits in the middle and lets value hop from one currency to another, instantly, cheaply. And that exact job is what XRP was literally built to do. Not payments in the vague sense. Bridging. That's its whole reason for existing, and here's where it stops being theory. Look at what Ripple's already put on the ground. RLUSD, Ripple's own stablecoin, already live and regulated in more than one region. The XRP Ledger, the actual network, quietly becoming a home for tokenized real-world assets. And I mean quietly. Tokenized assets on the XRP Ledger went from $150 million to $4 billion in a single year. $4 billion, with over 500 products now live on it. That's not a promise. That's already happening. So, connect it. Two governments say, we need cross-border digital money to work. XRP is a purpose-built bridge for cross-border digital money. Ripple already has the stablecoin, the ledger, and the real-world assets flowing on it. You don't have to squint to see the fit. It's just sitting right there. Quick question before we keep rolling. Did you know tokenized assets on the XRP Ledger jumped from $150 million to $4 billion in a single year? Most people have no clue. Type yes or no in the comments. I really want to see. Now, if that fit is real, you'd expect to see Ripple showing up where the big decisions get made, right? Not on the sidelines, in the actual room. So let me take you into that room, because this is where it gets real. Okay, remember the room I described in the intro? Let me tell you, it's not a metaphor. It's real. It has a name. Just one day before that US-UK roadmap dropped, on July 13th, the UK government launched something called the Wholesale Digital Markets Taskforce. 54 firms, handpicked. Their mission? Take tokenization out of the lab and into live, real-world financial markets within about a year. This is led by a guy named Chris Woolard, and here's why that matters. He's the former chair of the FCA, Britain's top financial regulator. So this isn't fringe. This is the establishment itself driving it. Now look at who's on that list. BlackRock, the biggest asset manager on the planet. JPMorgan, Goldman Sachs, Morgan Stanley, UBS, HSBC, Barclays, the absolute titans of global money. And sitting right there among them, as a full member, Ripple. And here's the detail I love most. In the official report, Ripple wasn't described as some crypto outsider they were nervously letting in the door. It was named as a credentialed institutional participant, one of the firms helping drive the whole thing. Let that sink in. The same Ripple that spent years getting dragged through court in the US is now seated at the UK government's table, treated as an equal to BlackRock and Goldman. And the scale of what they're building, it's almost hard to wrap your head around. The Boston Consulting Group estimates that tokenized real-world assets could hit $88 trillion by 2035. $88 trillion, compared to a crypto market that's around $3 trillion today. That's the size of the ocean these firms are trying to build boats for. And the first live trials, tokenized repo, the plumbing of Wall Street, they're targeting by spring of 2027. So when I connect Japan legitimizing the asset, and America and the UK aligning the rules, and Ripple sitting in the room with the biggest names in finance, building the actual rails, that's not 3 random headlines. That's one direction, and XRP's standing right in the current of it. So let's bring it all the way home, and let's do it the honest way, the real scorecard, not a fairy tale. After all of this, what does it actually mean for you, holding XRP, watching this right now? All right, let me give it to you straight, the way I'd tell a friend across the table. Here's the honest read. What happened this week is a directional win, a big one. 2 of the most powerful financial systems on Earth just agreed, on paper, that digital money and tokenization are the future, and they're building it together. And Ripple, the company behind XRP, is sitting inside the room where it's happening. Those are facts, not hype, facts. Now the honest other side, because I love you too much to skip it. This is a roadmap, not a rule. The live trials are aimed at 2027. The full build-out is a multi-year story. So if anybody's telling you XRP moons by Friday because of this, pump the brakes. That's not what this is. This is the tide coming in, not a single wave crashing tonight. So what do you actually do with it? Same thing the calm, smart money does. You zoom out. You stop refreshing the chart every 10 minutes, and you look at the trajectory instead. Japan, America, the UK, Europe, Wall Street, all of them, moving the same direction at the same time. And Ripple's got a seat at more than one of those tables. You get educated, which hey, if you're still here, you already are. And you make decisions you can actually sleep on. Because the people who win this game aren't the loudest in the comments. They're the ones who saw the foundation getting poured and understood what it meant before everyone else caught on. And zoom out one last time with me. Just a couple years ago, people were asking if Ripple would even survive its fight with regulators. Now, it's seated next to BlackRock at the UK Treasury's table. Its ledgers carrying billions in real assets, and 2 governments are drawing up a future that needs exactly what XRP was built to do. That arc only points one direction over the long run. The pain doesn't last forever. It never does. It never does. So here's where I'll leave you, fam. 2 governments, 1 direction, and Ripple in the room where it happens. Whatever these next few months throw at us, green or red, we walk through it together. Clear eyes, steady hands, because that's what we do here. If this gave you some clarity, do me a favor. Drop your honest thoughts down below. I read every single one. This has been Crypto with BHW, where we tell it straight, with heart. Stay ready, stay hopeful, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.